CFP episode four,
Four.
three, four,
Four.
four, four.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, S1E4 week three. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it says it right up top.
Yep.
Episode 4. We're back. For another exciting show. We're gonna recap a few upsets that happened in week 2. And then we'll get into a bevy of good ball games that we have coming up this weekend. Finally getting into some conference matchups, as well as some non-conference, but we'll go over that. But yeah, here we are. Here we
Hmm.
are, ready to go.
We are here.
You had a better week with your club, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's something missing. There's something wrong over there. San Jose State is really bad.
Whatever you do, don't ask about Arch's shoulder. Oh, we may have lost Joe. He's frozen. This is awkward. I've never had a two-person show where the other person. Oh, he's back. He's back. He's
I
moving.
have no idea
He's
what
moving
happened.
and shaking.
Last thing I heard you say was don't ask about Arch's shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do that because Sark will get very angry and ask if he's ever watched you in the bathroom, very awkwardly and weirdly.
Yep.
That was a very
He's
weird interaction.
not a huge fan of the coach of my team. Sure, he brought us
Oh,
back to national relevance. Thank you. Uh, but yeah, it's really it's getting weird. Guy can't call plays, and I'm starting to think this is like the 20th best team in the country, not the first. Well, we'll see
well,
how it goes.
we can
We'll see how it goes.
touch again on that when we get to best bets. But first we'll go and look at the action that we had in week 2. We'll start with the first game of the day out in Ames, Iowa. You know what? Hand up, big man right here. I was wrong. I was wrong. And you know what? It's not really even about me being wrong. It's about those kids because I finally thought that they were going to have some offense to watch. I finally thought they had a
No,
dynamic playmaker.
no,
But turns out, as long as Kirk Ferentz is there, it's going to be the same old shit for Iowa. The same old stupid, unoriginal, not fun to watch offense, and the same old just keep you in every game defense. And that's what it was. Iowa State winning 16-13, I believe was the final,
yep, yep,
in a game that Iowa's offense looked as bad as they've looked in this tenure. And I've been a very, obviously, those who know my history with Iowa, been a very critical person about the program in general. But they just kind of reiterated everything I've been saying for the last 3 years about that program. It doesn't matter who's at the helm. As long as they still have the same coach, they're going to look exactly the same, and that is poor. And Iowa State gets the first home win in that series since 2018.
Gronowski, not don't call me Gronkowski.
Nope. Hand up. I was
80,
wrong about that too.
83 yards on 24 attempts. 37 yards on 16 rushes. That's 40 touches, if you will, for the quarterback, and 120 yards total. That ain't gonna get it done anywhere. Uh,
No.
yeah,
No, it's not.
yeah. I watched some of the game. I actually this is a tough week for us. You're going through hell at work, and I had a wedding on Saturday.
Mm.
I didn't see a lot of ball on Saturday. I saw some, and I watched some highlights. But this is not going to be our best episode. Let's just get that hand up. Let's just get that out there to
Some
the
could
17
be.
bots on YouTube that will view this.
Yeah, but sometimes from the ashes rises the phoenix, and this might end up being our best episode as we carry the network
Yeah.
um, going
You know,
forward.
based on the mythology of the Phoenix, I would argue that the phoenix always rises from the ashes.
Well, when there is a phoenix, correct, it rises from the ashes. But not all ashes
Yeah.
create a phoenix.
It is yet to be seen. That is a very good point. It's yet to be seen whether there will be a phoenix today or next week, or but there are ashes. So
There are ashes,
yes,
and some of those ashes are actually still smoldering in Gainesville, where they like might have burnt down Billy Napier's house at this point. Florida loses a game at the end. By the end of this season, actually, by the end of this weekend, it might not look as bad a loss as it does right now, because through 2 weeks, I don't think there's a team out there that has as good a resume as South Florida has right now. South Florida goes in to Gainesville into the swamp, beats Florida 18-15. A very defensive battle, um, but at no point did South Florida not look like they belonged on that field. And every player, I mean, toe to toe with Florida the entire game. Uh, Grammatica able to put a field goal through the uprights right at the end of the game, and South
yes.
Florida comes away with the upset. Um, a great game for South Florida. A tough look for Billy Napier, who his schedule doesn't get any easier at
A
all.
a bold choice by the Florida defender to pull the old Jalen Carter when it mattered. Uh,
That's true.
and I'm not talking about killing one of his teammates on the road in a car, but because that's the OG Jalen Carter move. I'm not talking about winning a national championship. I'm not talking about winning, you know, the Super Bowl. I'm talking about spitting uh, on someone's face in the middle. I mean, Jalen Carter, at least he got it over with at the beginning of the game, you know, against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
He just said, I don't want to play today.
yeah.
Um, if the Eagles won anyways. We can mix in a little NFL on the show because there's no longer an NFL arm of this podcast
Oh,
branch.
breaking news.
Yeah, well, you knew that, but there's not a shot in hell the guy's ever going to watch it. But may or may not have been due to one man's effort, or it may just,
Or
or
lack thereof.
yeah, well, right, exactly. There's ashes over there. There ain't no phoenix coming. Anyways, long-winded, but the Florida defender deciding to spit in the fourth quarter, like he basically handed the game away for he handed the game to South Florida, and but South Florida deserved the win. They fought, they were
Oh,
in
they
it.
did, yeah.
You were so sharp on them 3 weeks ago on this show when you said look out for South Florida as a real contender. You said they were going to kick Boise State's ass. They did. You warned me last week that they were going to be in this game and take the 18 and a half points, which I did. Thank you very much. And boy, I
Easiest money ever.
wish we'd taken the money line.
Right?
but yeah, great win for this team. What you said about best resume in the country right now, yeah, maybe them and Ohio State. Sorry, them and Iowa State, the two teams we've talked about so far. Great resume so far. Iowa State with the win over Kansas State and Iowa, and South Florida.
Kansas State might be garbage.
They might be yeah, bad read by me. I had them in the Big 12 championship game.
So did I. I had
Perfect,
Avery Johnson being player of the year.
perfect transition to the next game we're going to review. My opponent in the Big 12 championship game of Kansas State was Arizona State. Tough one. Go ahead.
I warned about this one too.
Yeah, you
That
did. And I
Mississippi State team is not your older brother by years Mississippi State team. It's not the team that went 2-10 and 0-8 last year. They are a much improved squad. That was a very exciting game. Um, and
would you
like
be willing to say that the Mississippi State program resembles a Phoenix at the moment?
they do. They're coming together. They're like up to the like beginning of the wings.
Right. Right.
Ooh, that's kind of good.
Yeah. We're working on our metaphors. We're getting there.
But
Yeah.
every like the touchdown, 58-yard touchdown with 30 seconds left. But the just dropping their nuts in the goal line stand to hold Arizona State to a field goal right before that. I mean, it was first and goal from like inside the one, and they just shut them down, held them to a field goal, which enabled them to go back with the touchdown, and then sealed it with the pick at the end of that game. But that was, I mean, I will say, I mean, I'm going to digress a little bit. It was a great win for Mississippi State, taking nothing away from them. The fact that they were allowed to do the cowbell thing is kind of crazy. Like, you can't play music, you can't have your band play during the play, you can't do any of that. But they can have 50,000 people just railing some cowbells. And
Yeah,
it is crazy what's going on like when that happens. Like the sound, I mean, it's got to be,
very distracting, very hard to play
yeah,
football.
it's got to be. So it's kind of crazy that they're allowed to do that. But I digress. Big win for Mississippi State, biggest win they've had in quite a while. They still have to play their SEC schedule. We'll see where they kind of shake out. But it was a huge win for them. And hats off,
Yeah,
beating the defending Big 12 champions and number 10
yeah.
team in the country, Arizona State.
I said Sam Levitt was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Had a bad
10,
night.
10 for 22 for 82 yards and 2 interceptions. He did mix in a touchdown there, but my goodness, he did not play well. They did run the ball well, but
They rang
and
the bell well,
they
especially I
stopped
mean
the
the
run.
second
They
half.
stopped the run, but Mississippi State has a real quarterback. It looks like so.
They do. Blake Shapen, former Baylor
Yeah,
quarterback. He was hurt all last year, but yeah, he looks like he is every bit legit. And they're a much improved team. So that was a great win for the Bulldogs.
dare
Uh,
I say, this is the best Mississippi State team since the Dak Prescott era.
you might dare, yeah.
Yeah, I might dare. I might dare. I don't think they've been relevant since 2016, since
No,
2015.
I don't think they have at all.
No,
No, no,
they might have
unless
popped
you
up with a decent season, but no,
right,
they
unless you're in
yeah,
Starkville, Mississippi, you really haven't thought about them.
no. So could be interesting. I think it's fun when they're a good team. So we'll see if it carries over into SEC play.
Agreed. I'm anxious to see them get into the conference schedule and see how they play. At the same time that was happening, you had another SEC team battling as Oklahoma defending their home turf against Michigan. Oklahoma comes away with the win. I think it was what 24-13. I think was the final there.
Correct.
Um, it kind of went the way we said. It was
Yeah.
a quarterback who has been kind of put through the ringer, veteran quarterback who's just earning his stripes, coming out there and just playing a very just kind of a ballsy game. A
Yeah.
lot of big rushes for Mateer. And then that Oklahoma defense finally looks like a Brett Venables defense. And boy, do they hit hard. That was kind of the one thing I kept saying is every time they hit, it was just a hard hit. And that sounds like, of course, it's football, but I don't know. It was there seemed to be something extra. I was really impressed by the Oklahoma defense. I think Michigan's going to be fine. I think Bryce Underwood will be fine. Um, I think they need to maybe unleash him a little bit more. And I think this is kind of across college football, a little bit of an epidemic of protecting the young players and being afraid to let them make mistakes. Like a lot of times, like that's how these guys get better. They make mistakes their freshman year, they make mistakes in big games, and then they learn from them. And then the next game, they're better for it. So I think there were, and I think it's not just Michigan. I think I see it other places, but I think it was very evident in this game that they just kind of weren't unleashing him. I thought it was a very scared play calling. And I don't know if that's Sharon Moore or more of what I'm speaking about, or more to what I'm speaking about protecting their young $12 million quarterback. But I think he'll be fine in the long run. But I think this was this meant more for Oklahoma. I think it was much more needed for Oklahoma, and I thought they went out there and played a really good game, especially defensively.
Yeah, this team looked legit. Mateer's just tough. He's tough.
Yeah,
He's It's a really good fit here, and like you said, the defense finally looks good. Michigan has kind of the same issues I think they've had, where they have a good defense. But when your defense is on the field for 45 minutes, it's tough to continuously get stops. It's a lot like last year. They had trouble with ball control in bigger matchups. Um, they can run the ball like Michigan always can, but when your quarterback goes 9 for 24, a lot of our review today is highlighting some piss poor quarterback play. Um, and yeah, whether it was game plan or whatever, but 9 for 24, it ain't gonna get it done. 3 rushes for -1 yard ain't gonna get it done. Um,
Not in this
Underwood's
town.
Underwood's supposed to have some scrambling ability. He didn't show any in that game. I did catch some of this ball game. So yeah, Oklahoma is looks like they're at least semi back. So SEC could be really competitive, really tough this year. I mean, it will be anyways, but I'm saying it could be even deeper than we suspected.
Yeah, I fully agree. And then just kind of to whip around some other games. Another game that I was really big on and super impressed by the performance of Sawyer Robertson as Baylor rebounds from their loss against Auburn and takes down number 17 SMU in double overtime. Sawyer Robertson leading a huge 2 minute drill drive to come back and tie the game right at the end of regulation. He ends up with 34 of 50 passing, 440 yards, and 4 touchdowns. A guy who's making a claim early that definitely some Heisman buzz around him. I'm sure there's some long odds if you're looking for a dark horse. The way he's performed these first 2 weeks, even in the loss to Auburn, he looked good. He's a hell of a quarterback down there. If Baylor can get anything out of their defense, who has not been able to even resemble stopping anybody in the first 2 weeks, Baylor's going to be a very good team, I think. But hats off to Sawyer Robertson, hell of a performance as he leads Baylor to a victory over a ranked SMU team. Um,
Yeah.
Whether you think that ranking has to do with how they did last year, not really what they are this year, that may be, but still a good win for Baylor bouncing back.
Yes, very good win. Their offense looks quite capable. Their defense is going to need to improve a bit, but
Yeah, yeah. But I
they,
think that they're in a I mean, that Big 12 conference is going that's going to be what the games are like. I think you're going to see a lot of games like that. A lot of very good quarterbacks in that conference and a lot of not great defenses. Which I think
yeah,
is where Iowa State's going to have an advantage because they do have a pretty good defense.
one of our takes preseason was ACC is going to be boring, Big 12 is going to be boring. It looks like the opposite. It looks like they're both deep and exciting conferences all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I very impressed. Georgia Tech played nobody, but they won by a lot, which is usually a good sign. I am really excited for the upcoming Georgia Tech game that we'll be talking about shortly here on the show.
Yeah.
Um, and I would another takeaway is yeah, Mike Gundy. Oh, boy,
Woo-
what on
What?
earth? 69 to
What?
3? What has happened to Oklahoma State? Like we kind of
Yeah.
talked about it last week, like, it's embarrassing you're 28-point underdogs. Well, if you lost by 28, we wouldn't even be mentioning this on the show. You lost by 66.
Yeah, no, it's sad what's happening there right
What
now.
the hell? I mean, did they even try to recruit? Did they what's going on? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know. We need to look into this more because that
It was
like the
disturbing.
level of fall that Oklahoma State like teams go through ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys as programs. But to get to a point where you're a power program losing to another power program by 66 points and like
Yes.
not in like a game that you lost by 66 points and it didn't even look that close. Like
No.
it could have been you could have lost by 80 that game. Like that was crazy. And I mean, yes, my gun like but the flip side is that Oregon might be way better than we thought. Like Dante Moore looks flawless at this point. Um
Yeah. I
so
had them, like, out of my playoff field. I think that might have been a bad take.
yeah, I don't know. They're just as good as anybody that
They
we've
they
seen
they
so far.
ran for 8.4 yards a carry on Oklahoma State. Like, what has happened? Uh, they 17.7 yards per catch. Like,
Yeah.
it
Well,
is
it's
just
kind of they're kind of in the same spot, I feel like, as Iowa, where like you know what your ceiling is currently, like with the head coach you have, but he's been there so long and is so ingrained in your program that you're having a hard time moving on from him.
yeah. 12 people attempted a rush for Oregon. Like, you got to be getting your ass absolutely handed to you for that to happen. Uh, so, uh,
Yeah,
yeah, tough.
it was wild.
If Oklahoma State doesn't win a game this year, I won't be surprised. Actually, I think they did win against someone terrible last week. But if they don't win a uh, a conference game, I wouldn't be that surprised after that performance. So
Yeah. And we'll just kind of whip through the other top 25 scores from last weekend. We can stop and say anything about any games that we want to. But a lot of blowouts on the schedule as far as
yeah,
top 25
it was a
went.
week. It was a week two.
It was. You had Texas Tech beating Kent State 62 to 14. Penn State continued their out of conference gauntlet with a 34 nothing win against Florida International. 34 nothing, a little bit closer maybe. They might have been looking ahead to Villanova this week. Um, Florida State beat up on East Texas A&M. Yep, that's right. East Texas A&M 77 to 3. They continue to look legit. Indiana beat Kennesaw State 56 to 9. Illinois put a pounding on Duke. This was
Yeah,
another
it was
a
a 2 point
very
spread. It was a two
it
point
was.
spread.
It was a 2 point spread. It was at Duke. Illinois comes out and beats them 45 to 19. Great look for Illinois. Great look for Luke Altmaier at quarterback there. As we mentioned, Iowa State 16-13 over Iowa, winning the Cyhawk Trophy. It was Texas taking care of San Jose State 38 to 7.
A
Um,
bad performance.
yeah, yeah, it wasn't a great bounce back by
I
Texas,
thought
but
for sure they'd cover the spread against one of the worst teams in the country, and they for a
they
while
did not.
in certain points of the game, the teams looked equal. There's something wrong in Texas.
There's something wrong in Austin.
Yeah,
Texas A&M doubled up Utah State 44-22. Georgia with kind of a sleepy performance. They
mm.
get by Austin P 28 to 6. A
Yeah.
lot closer than people thought that would be. Maybe looking ahead to their matchup this week, big matchup that we're going to talk about in a few. Ole Miss got by Kentucky 30 to 23, avenging the loss that kind of probably kept them out of the playoff last
They
year.
they have struggled with Kentucky over the past few years, so that it was a good way for them to exercise some demons. Um,
Yep.
Lane Kiffin apologizing for not covering the spread at the end was a little sketchy.
It is, yeah. Probably shouldn't do that.
Right
Just
on brand with
bring in
right on brand for that. Yeah,
yeah, unnecessary
yeah.
uh
A
heat
wild
on him.
comment to make right after the game
Yep.
ends. It was like
Again,
his priority in the post game interview was to mention that. It was very odd.
yeah, it's not a great look. Not a
No,
great look.
no.
Especially for a man who like isn't above reproach. Like he
Yeah, a guy who
has some
looks like
skeletons.
he hammered his own spread.
Yeah, absolutely. Um Oregon again, 69, nice. 3
Yeah,
over Oklahoma State.
yeah.
Clemson
You
came
sure that
back.
wasn't East Oklahoma State A&M?
You would have thought it was, right?
My word.
I think Independence Community College, led by Jason Brown, would have given them a better game.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
Clemson scoring 27 unanswered to come back against Troy and win 27 to 16.
Some-
Um,
Something wrong over there too.
yeah,
My
yeah,
word. My
yeah.
God.
We'll
Yeah.
talk about them. They have a big one coming up this weekend. Tennessee putting a whooping on East Tennessee State, 72 to
Yeah.
17. Ohio State shut out Grambling State, 70 to nothing. The
Borderline racist.
Grambling State coach was correct. Uh, Julian Sayin looked really good. I mean, against Grambling State, but he was very good getting the ball downfield.
He was.
Missouri winning the border battle against Kansas, 42 to 31.
Yep, good win.
Big win for Mizzou. Joel Pribula, the former Penn State quarterback, looks really good for Missouri. They could make some noise in the SEC too.
That
SEC
was
is very deep.
that was the only one of my best bets that actually won, I believe, from last week. So
Yes, I believe
yeah.
you were 1 and 2.
and now I've fallen to
Um,
4-2 on the year. So not bad. Not bad.
that was not you did not have that for best
Oh, I
bets.
didn't? Okay.
No,
What were
you had Arizona State, South Florida, and Texas.
okay, I only got, oh, yeah, okay.
South
Well,
Florida was the one
still
that
1
hit.
and 2, 4-2 on the year, not bad.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
No. Combined, we're doing great on the
Yeah.
year. Uh, then we had Florida getting beat 18-16 by South Florida. Utah put a stomping on Cal Poly,
Mhm.
63-9.
Yeah.
Miami beat Bethune Cookman 45-3. Auburn beat up Ball State 42-3. As we mentioned, Oklahoma 24-13 over Michigan. LSU, just kind of like Georgia, very sleepy win as they beat Louisiana Tech 23-7. I believe they play Florida this week. I think they're hosting Florida. Alabama 73 to nothing over Louisiana Monroe. They definitely took out some aggression from the week one loss they had. And then South Carolina won their bitter state rivalry against South Carolina State 38-10. That
Yes,
was your
very
top 25 rundown.
now the part that's I feel like South Carolina State has built its entire identity off, like, trying to almost copy the logo of South Carolina.
It's
But
very weird.
yeah,
They're like
it's
the colors are like exactly the same. It's
very
like
uncomfortable.
it
Yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
really weird. It's
Yeah.
like they're like the middle school to South Carolina high school. Like
Right.
it's
Or
weird.
it's like the little league team that is like it's like the, like the Rochester Yankees, or say, or the Burlington Yankees. I don't know. It has that kind of vibe to it. It doesn't really make sense, you know.
I like that. Didn't expect you to go Rochester.
Yeah, I was
Um,
trying to do the stick with the Bass Pro Shops upstate New York thing, but whatever. I don't really give a shit anymore.
all right. And speaking of shit, get your shit stains out with Tide. Tide
Mm.
also is bringing you this week's Tide trivia question. Give it up for Tide.
Hi.
Tide. All right. This week's question. There has been only one quarterback to lose back-to-back BCS national championship games. Can you name him?
Wow. This is a fun question, huh?
We made
So
a slight allusion to him last week.
so we're talking the era of
Talking
BCS.
BCS era. I mean, from the beginning of the BCS to now, it hasn't happened, but once.
Okay. So, like, I need to be thinking in the last 30 years ish.
Yeah, think from like 2000.
Okay. Boy, I should be able to get this. Back back to back. I just don't. I don't think it's Lawrence. I don't think it's Lawrence. But he was in so. It felt like he was in a lot of
You're
them.
way too recent.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Back to back BCS championship losses. Well, if it's way too recent, he probably played for the same team.
He did.
Uh, okay. And the fact that I can't think of a team that lost 2 in a row around that era is kind of embarrassing, kind of bad. Oh,
I don't think either of them were close. I think they got blown out both the games.
did he play in the NFL?
Maybe he had a cup of coffee, but he's not known for it.
All right. I think it's an Oklahoma quarterback. Is that right?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. Excuse my language. Oh, well, the dead air is not particularly good here. Um, Jason White. Not correct.
Nailed it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Jason White, I believe it was 0304
Wow. That
back to
was a
back.
journey. That was a journey for me to get there.
So he won the Heisman his junior year. They lost, and then Matt Leinart won it his senior year, and USC beat them in the championship. So
Who
yeah,
did
it
they
was
lose to the
Oklahoma.
first year?
It was 2000. For some reason, I had it
LSU?
earlier.
Saban,
I was
LSU.
gonna say I thought it was LSU.
I think it's Saban's
Um,
first title.
yeah, I can look real quick.
Yeah, why not? Might as well.
So they lost college career. Da, ba, ba. BCS. They lost. Oh, it was a close game. So they lost to LSU 21-14. Uh,
Okay.
and
Yep.
then the next year they lost to USC 55-19.
Okay. Yeah. Oklahoma has lost a lot of national championship games.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're not known for winning them for
Or
sure.
if you even venture into the 14 bracket, they have a bunch of losses too, I believe, in that
Yeah, yeah, they
beginning of
do.
that era with Murray and Mayfield, etc.
Yeah, because when Texas was down for a little bit, they were just running the Big 12.
Yeah, they were running
Um,
it.
so they were going to
Hey,
the tournament a lot. But you got there. That's a big Joe Public win right there. In the tie trivia questions.
two
Get your
two for three on the year. I'm not giving myself credit for last week's Heisman or
no,
last week's.
nor should you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nor should I. But yeah, I did get there this week. That was a journey though. So
You got there. All right. So going into this week, we got some big ball games. I did not do these in order, but we're gonna just wing with it. Maybe the biggest game of the weekend, uh, conference clash, as the Georgia Bulldogs go on the road to the always tough Neyland Stadium and take on the Tennessee Vols, Tennessee team that's looked great to start the season, led by Joey Aguilar at quarterback. Few stats going into this. Maybe this is just things of note. Georgia's 1-5 against the spread in its last 6 games, while Tennessee's 4-1 in its last 5. But Georgia is 6-0 against the spread in its last 6 against Tennessee. So they've had Tennessee's number as of late. Tennessee has their safeties are both banged up. Their status is a little unknown. So that's not great for them. Georgia has not allowed a sack yet this year. So the Georgia offensive line playing well, despite their offense kind of looking like they're going through the motions a little bit. Gunnar Stockton's been all right. The Tennessee pass defense I thought looked beatable against Syracuse. Syracuse was kind of able to move the ball fairly well at times during that game.
times, at
Yeah.
times when they got
So
out of their own way, which was rare.
right. Um, so yeah, I mean, I get kind of both things on both sides to go with. Um, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think both defenses are going to step up. I think Georgia's defense is really good. Um, So I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I have the spread is Georgia -3.5. I think Georgia's going to win this. I think they'll barely cover the spread. I have Georgia winning 17-13. I just think their defense is going to be really good.
Yeah, here, let me just grab something real quick here for us. Let's see if I can pull that off. That's not the one I want. This is the one I want. All right, let's do this. Here we go.
There it is.
Uh, okay. Yeah, this game is really interesting to me. Georgia's not looked like incredible, but they have looked fine. We both kind of talked about Gunnar Stockton and said that he doesn't fit like the classic Georgia quarterback mold at all. Um, but I'm impressed the way he played against Texas last year when filling in for Beck, and
I
he
think he
doesn't.
fits it more than Beck did.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm just saying he's more of a runner than
No,
you're
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
typically used to seeing over at Georgia. And yeah, this game is really tough for me to predict. It feels like I want to take the points with Tennessee, but it may feel a bit trappy in my mind. It's just not 100% sure on this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with the home team here. I'm gonna say Tennessee pulls one off. Georgia has a little adversity to deal with beginning in the beginning of the season. Knowing Georgia, they probably have like the easiest schedule in the world coming up. I haven't looked properly yet, but um, Tennessee's way better than I expected. I thought this would be a huge drop off. It turns out replacing the quarterback may have been the best move they could make. Um, this roster looks really good. They look like they can run the ball just as effectively, even though they lost some guys. I'm going to go ahead and take Tennessee to upset here. I'll say
So
23-20 Tennessee.
23-20 Tennessee.
Yeah.
All right, so just to go off of that, the schedule, Georgia does have a bye next week, but then they have Alabama at home, Kentucky at home, at Auburn, uh, Ole Miss at home, then a bye, and then Florida at a neutral site in Jacksonville, at Mississippi State, home for Texas, and at Georgia Tech at the end of the season.
It's an
So,
absolute gauntlet, maybe the hardest schedule in the country.
well, yeah, until you look at Florida's coming up. They
Right.
do have most of their big games, besides Auburn and then maybe Mississippi State and Georgia Tech, at home. They get Alabama at home, Ole Miss at home, and Texas at home.
Okay.
So they do have a tough schedule, but like I said, they do get it at home. A lot of those games at home. Um, when you but just because I mentioned it, the Florida schedule. So Florida, a team that is now 1-1 with their only loss or only win against FCS Long Island. This weekend they're at LSU. Next they're at Miami. Then a bye week. Then Texas at Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. So I don't know if Florida's going to win 4 games. Like, I don't see it.
After this loss, it looks like they may be in severe trouble.
Yeah.
Typical shit out in Florida. They must be in hell right
Oh
now.
my God.
That coach
Can't imagine.
may not last the season.
No,
Mr.
Billy
Mr.
N.
Yeah,
Mr. Napier may want to call his real estate agent because he might be moving.
for real. Yeah.
All right. So you're on Tennessee. I'm on Georgia. But I think it's going to be a close game either way. Big conference matchup. It's pretty fun early season conference matchup.
Yeah. Agreed.
Um, and I think we'll learn a lot about both these teams. Tennessee's, I mean, they played Syracuse, so they've played the better of any teams that these two teams have played. But these will be the biggest matchup for either of them, obviously.
Is Austin Peay in Tennessee? I believe it is. Yeah, it's in Clarksville, Tennessee. So
Clarksville, Tennessee,
they already they're working their way through the state. We'll see how it goes.
state championship.
Yeah. Right.
Next, we're going to look at 7:30 kickoff. Texas A&M going to South Bend to take on the Golden Domers of Notre Dame. Notre Dame 6.5 point, 7 point favorites now
Rematch from last
in
year
this
too.
game. It is a rematch from last year, a game down at Texas A&M, a game Notre Dame won. Thoughts on this matchup, Mr. Public?
Yeah, A&M, you know, looked great beating Eastern A&M or whatever. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But yeah, this is an
Who did they play?
interesting matchup. Last year's game was a real defensive battle. Notre Dame pulled it out at the very end. But A&M's quarterback was not their current quarterback. It was not Marcel Reed. It was I can't remember his name, but he was awful for A&M last year at the beginning of last
It
season.
was it Connor Wegman?
Yeah, it was. He was awful, awful. He was supposed to be like a big transfer or whatever. It just didn't work out very well.
He also didn't get benched. He got hurt, and that's
Yeah,
when Reed took the
that's right. That's
position.
right.
But
Well,
he
he should
should
have
have
been
got
benched.
benched.
He
Yeah.
was playing very poorly consistently. Um, yeah, I think this is a really interesting game. It's too many points for me. I'm taking A&M on the spread. I'm taking Notre Dame to win the game.
Yeah.
17 to 13 Notre Dame.
Okay. So a very low scoring game. So yeah, Texas A&M first 2 games, UTSA, UT's Texas San Antonio, and Utah State. So
Right.
not anybody huge, but also I mean decent teams. UTSA is a pretty decent team. Um, So again, I'm going to come with a few stats here. Last 9 road games, Texas A&M is 1-7-1 against the spread.
Oof.
In their 0-7 total against the spread in their last 7 games. Notre Dame 11-2 against the spread in their last 13 games, and 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games against SEC opponents.
Whoa.
So the stats would favor Notre Dame historically. What I'll say is I think this is going to come down to Notre Dame's ability to run the ball and control the clock and keep Marcel Reed off the field. I think if this turns into a game where Texas A&M gets a lot of possessions and is able to get Notre Dame off the field, I like Texas A&M in this game. I think if Notre Dame's able to control the clock and run the ball, which I think they will be able to, Texas A&M right now has the 83rd ranked defense nationally, and that's after playing Texas San Antonio and Utah State. So
Fair
this
enough.
is by far going to be the best rush offense they've seen. They've had trouble stopping the rush. They're giving up over 4 yards per carry as it is right now. So I do think that Notre Dame is going to be able to control the clock, keep Marcel Reed off the field, and win this game. I do think it's a lot of points. Um, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this game. Give me Notre Dame 24-20. I like Texas A&M to cover, but I think Notre Dame wins the game. I'm right in
It,
line with you, Joe.
it's kind of odd for Notre Dame. They play Miami, and then they have a bye. Like
Yeah,
that, you'd think they'd want to schedule a cupcake in between these two games, but they didn't. So
especially when they're in complete control of their entire schedule.
yeah, it's fairly make or break for them.
Yeah, I
The rest of the schedule isn't enough for me to elevate them in. I mean, they play nobody this year. Why load your schedule up so brutally these first two games? You got Purdue, Arkansas, Boise, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pittsburgh, Syracuse, Stanford. Not much there. Um,
because well, the problem is that they can only play these type of teams at the beginning of the season because the rest of those teams play conference games and are filled with conference games at the end of the season. So if they're
no,
going to
it's
play anybody of note, it has to really be in the first 3 weeks of the season.
no, it's true. But I mean, they can squeeze it in here with USC and Arkansas and stuff, but it's still, I get your point. They have to win this game or they won't be in the playoff this year, in my opinion. They could lose this game and then win the rest. I don't think it's enough. So I don't really think they can slip
I
up.
w- I would agree with you, except for I thought that last year when they lost to Northern Illinois, and then they somehow backed their way into the
Oh,
playoffs.
they clearly deserve to be there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
They got to the national championship game and gave Ohio State somewhat of a challenge. Not really, but they
yeah.
deserve to be in that playoff last year. This year, if they lose this game, they're not going to playoff. So
All right. Well, them and the Catholic Church and Penn State can have fun together. Um, another game
they do.
moving
They do.
to a noon kickoff. Um, Clemson going to Atlanta, Bobby Dodd Stadium. They're going to take on Georgia Tech. It's really hard for me to have an opinion on this game because we don't know the status of Haynes King. Um, we don't know if he's playing. He did not play last week and against Gardner Webb. Georgia Tech still did fine in that game. Obviously, it's Gardner Webb.
Right.
But I think they do need him this week, despite how Clemson has looked in the first 2 weeks, losing to LSU and then having a real hard time with Troy. I think the
Is Troy
most
good? I don't know anything about
so
Troy.
Troy has been decent the last few years. They're a decent kind of mid-major team, but the troubling part about that game is how easily they were able to kind of dice up Clemson's defense. They were really able to kind of throw at will against them for the first part of that game. So that was kind of more of the troubling part for me. If Haynes King is playing, I really like Georgia Tech in this game. Just the way that they looked against Colorado, um, and then the just how Clemson has not looked great. Um, so we'll see kind of where that's going. If Haynes King is not playing, I like Clemson. I think they beat. Uh, I think they beat Georgia Tech at home. But it's really hard for me to have a feeling because a what we've seen from Clemson, not really knowing what you're going to get, and then b obviously we don't know who's playing quarterback for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, my gut instinct is that he does play.
I
Especially,
agree.
it seems like if the game had mattered last week, he would have played, and it was a game time decision. But you know what? This show has, or past iterations with
We're
other
not
characters,
falling for it again.
Yeah, we've fallen into this game time decision quarterback trap. Um, Shout out, Mr. Rising. Um, I'm gonna say he plays. I'm gonna say Georgia Tech wins. they look like a team with an identity. Clemson looks like they're desperately trying not to trip over themselves. If Clemson comes out and makes a statement, then you could kind of, maybe we get Clemson becomes a phoenix rising from ashes. But I just don't. They just don't feel like there's enough consistency. There's enough identity right now. Give me Georgia Tech, who's playing good football with Haynes King, to win 23-20. I like that score today, 23-20.
23-20. Yeah, Clemson, it kind of has that, what we were talking about with Texas, where it's just something just seems like it's missing.
Yeah,
It
something's a
just
little off.
seems off. It doesn't seem right. So yeah, if Haynes King plays, I like Georgia Tech to win. I'll take them 27-23 um, to win. And then if Clemson loses this game, I mean, they're going to have a hard time doing anything this
They'll have to
season.
run the they'll have to run the table.
They will have to, yeah. And then
Yeah.
when they could still get to the SEC title game if they beat everybody else on their schedule. That's very true. So, but a huge game either way.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last big matchup. They've kind of earned their way into this. South Florida at Miami. That's a 4:30 kickoff. Miami 17 and a half point favorites. Very similar to what Florida was last week. Um, right now, USF 5-1 against the spread in their last six. Miami 2-4. USF's 1-5 in their last six though against Miami, but Miami is 1-4 against the spread in their last five as a favorite.
Lot
Kind
going
of
on there.
Yeah, it's kind of canceling each other out.
Yeah.
I think Miami's obviously the best team. I think they're better than Florida that USF has played. And I think last week was a very emotional win for USF. You saw it kind of after the game. A lot of their coaches really going wild and celebrating the team. I think it's hard to get up like that 2 weeks in a row. I think this is kind of a spot where you could see a little bit of an emotional letdown for South Florida. I think Miami's a better team. I think Carson Beck is a much better quarterback. I think he has a lot better weapons. Um, and they're a week removed from their big win against Notre Dame. They played Bethune Cookman last weekend and took care of them. So I, I'm they've been my darling. I love South Florida. I have a weird feeling that they could get buzzsawed here, um, and
Yeah.
have a tough go.
This is a physical team, very skilled on both sides of the ball. Miami. That was evident against Notre Dame. They did have to hold on for a win there, but that was kind of just classic Golden Domers staying in the game no matter what. I hear what you're saying, but I really like Brown, the quarterback from South Florida. He was awesome. I don't think this is a team with beating Florida was our Super Bowl team. I don't think that's how they're feeling. I think it was cool and they're excited, but I think they're going to come out and grind here. They're not going to quite get it done, but I like them to fight. 31-17 Miami. Give me that cover for South Florida.
Yeah, I think 17 and a half is still a lot of points. Like, I think what I'm saying could be true, and I think they could still easily get inside that number,
Right.
especially because their defense is pretty formidable. And I think could hold Miami to a lower point total than people
Yeah.
think. Um, I would lean to the under in this game, but if against the spread, you know what? Just because of what they've done for the past 2 weeks, I'll take South Florida to cover. Give me Miami 26-10.
Give me South Florida 24-23 outright victory. No,
Let's do
no,
it. Let's
I
do
want
it.
I want to do it, but I think your letdown thing is natural. But I also just think that this is a better team than Florida. So
Yeah, I agree.
um,
What I
I
will
think they'll stay
say,
in it. I think they'll stay in it, but fade at the end.
if they do pull this off and
Oh
they're going
man,
to go ahead in the first 3 weeks beat Boise State, Florida, and Miami, we have a real conversation to be had about this team and how legit they may be.
they'll
Because
be
that would
claiming
be as good a 3 weeks as people have had in a long time.
they'll be claiming national championship. They'll be like, well, they'll They'll add it. They'll do the
Central Florida thing.
yes, they'll do the Central Florida.
I mean, they'll have a claim to the like Florida State championship.
Pretty much.
They'll just have to take out Florida State, and that would be it.
Yeah.
Um,
Impressive scheduling by this team too. Not
yeah,
afraid.
way to go out and get it.
Yeah, it's the
Complete
kind of it's
opposite of
Penn
Penn
State.
State.
Yeah, looking ahead to Villanova was maybe the funniest joke you've ever made.
I think people don't want to play them. I think
Yeah,
people remember. People don't forget.
Division
They're
two Villanova is tough. I agree.
they're a felony-ridden program who swept it under the rug. A lot of Big Ten programs are. I mean, there's very few Big Ten programs out there that are just good old-fashioned, hard-nosed programs.
There's not many clean programs in general. I actually root for a fairly clean program, like in terms of how big they
As do
are.
I.
No, that's not true.
What are
It's
you
not.
talking about?
Okay, buddy. I'm not getting. We don't need to do crossovers here, but you gymnastics doctor, and
Oh my God, I'm talking about football things.
I'm aware of that.
He
But I mean,
also he was
your
he's
last
not
coach was sleeping around with women and stuff.
well. That might not be true. That may have just been made up so we didn't have to pay his buyout. To be fair,
Well,
um,
yeah, it was a brilliant move then. But yeah,
yeah, a lot of smart people in East Lansing. Listen, don't tear us down. We just beat BC in double overtime. Aiden Childs had his best game he's had. We're gonna take out the Penguins this week, Youngstown State, and then hold on. This has nothing to do with anything, and it affects nobody but me and every other blue-blooded American who loves Michigan State.
right.
Um, Week 4, we play USC. Probably both be undefeated going into that game. You know what time the kickoff is?
Let me guess. 11 a.m.
No, 11 p.m.
11 p.m.
11 p.m. kickoff against USC.
It's a bit
I like.
outrageous. It's a bit
I'm no
outrageous.
spring chicken. You can't be doing that. Like if USC's playing Washington State and you want to do an 8 p.m. kickoff, by all means, go ahead.
You're going to be up till 3 a.m.
You're playing an East Coast, well, an Eastern time zone team. You can't be kicking the game off at 11 fucking p.m. They did this to us too in the NCAA tournament. We got put out west and we had 10:45 tip-offs. They hate us. They hate us because we are a hard-nosed, clean program, and they want to bring us down.
Yeah, well, I hear you. That is way too late of a kickoff, though. That is a
It's
bit out.
crazy.
That is a
It's
bit
crazy.
outrageous. Let's
It's
let's you know let's do one more game here. Why not? Let's do it. You might not have it prepped, but let's do it anyways. All right,
Yeah,
go.
I don't have it prepped. Oh,
All right.
Florida LSU. Yeah, LSU's gonna kill them.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to think. I saw this line and said, oh yeah, easy. Let's bet LSU. I think this is the old reverse trap. I think Florida stays in this game. You saw LSU kind of sleepwalk last week. Florida, huge emotional letdown. They know how critical it is to stand back up and play a good game here for their season. They have two options, go just go die in the swamp, or make a statement, stay in the game against LSU, and I think they can. I sneaky like Florida to cover the spread. I think it exactly what they want is people to come in here and just hammer LSU blindly. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because I think it's a trappy line, and I think you should take the point. I think LSU wins, but I think you should take the points. 26-23 LSU.
Yeah, I think they want you to think it's a trap, but it's really trapping the other way because this ain't in the swamp. Gators, this is in Death Valley, and you know what a gator does in the desert? It dies.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
fair. It
It
dries out
dies.
pretty quick. Yeah.
Real quick, real quick. Especially a gator that is already limping and wounded. It's going to go into Death Valley, and I think
These are
LSU's
animals as
going to
old as
beat
the
them.
dinosaurs, Nick. This isn't this they're not playing around. It's not like, oh, we got a weak alligator here.
Yeah, they're animals as old as the dinosaur, but they've never come out of the water. They're
Fair
still in
enough.
the water. They're still
Yeah.
comfortable where they're comfortable. In this game, they're not going to be comfortable.
Pretty
Uh,
easy, pretty easy to flop over to the bayou here in Louisiana and get into some water and feel better and feel a little better about yourself.
There's gonna be a lot of lubed up Cajuns that are not gonna let that happen.
Yeah, well, that might be effective if you could understand what they're saying, but when the trash talk is incomprehensible, it probably doesn't work that well. So,
To be fair, what there's as a state, Louisiana isn't exactly the smartest. So whatever they're actually saying probably would be worse than just the mumble jumble of you think, oh, we gonna go down there and we're gonna have some guys blah 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 and play football. You're gonna go
thankfully,
win.
this podcast hasn't spread to the South yet, and we won't be getting death
I love
threats.
the South.
Yeah, well, we do, of course. We love. I'm just saying, our influence hasn't quite spread from upstate New York.
Historically, I don't agree with them, but as far
Right.
as football goes, I love the South.
Yeah, great football.
I was saying the other last it was last Friday. I was, driving to work and I was just thinking, man, I wish I was somewhere that cared about high school football. Like I would have loved to be going to a big high school football game down in Mississippi. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, I would have loved to be
Texas.
doing that.
Yeah. So yes, that would be cool to have something like that around here. Unfortunately, all we have is the Bass Pro Shops in upstate New York, and the rest is just it's basically Canada. So
Their women know how to like treat a man better too down in the
yeah,
South.
let's not.
This is me saying this
So you
myself.
right.
There are
They
great women in the north. You can find them, but they're harder to find. Joe Public and found Jane Public, wonderful woman, would fit
thanks.
in
Thank
great
you.
with the southern women. She's a
Yeah,
southern belle in the north. That's what she is. I'm not speaking about her, but as general, the south women, they're just a little bit more submissive and
yeah.
can take care of the men better.
Jane Jane will like the compliment, and yeah, maybe I could have her read a couple books on some Southern comfort, but
I'll
but
throw her a debutante ball. We got it.
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the men can also be a little
Oh,
harsher.
I yeah, no, the men kind of like the ideal is a northern man with a midwestern or southern woman.
Right,
Um for me, not
right,
for everybody, but for
right. No,
me that would be my ideal. Um this has gone
yeah,
completely off the rails.
yeah. Well, you know what? Let's just be happy. We don't know any woman from Cal Poly. I don't know what the hell they're up to there.
Oh, they suck. I think you just saw one of them steal a baseball from a child at a Phillies game. That's
Yeah,
what I think of as the Cal Poly women.
yeah.
They all have that haircut.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was something.
Yeah,
All right.
we're split here. You got LSU covering. I got Florida covering. So
All right. Then let's final thing. We'll just move on. Best bets of the week. Kind of as the season goes. I went 3-0 last week. I had Baylor, South Florida, Mississippi State. All of them won outright. Actually, they were all underdogs. They all went outright. So I moved to 5-1 on the season. My best bets. After a 3-0 start for Joe Public. He went 1-2 last week.
yeah,
He had Arizona State, South Florida, and Texas. So he goes to 4-2. As a pod, we are still 9-3 on the season. So definitely worthy of being ball
yeah.
knowers
Good
for
start
sure.
for sure. Good start for sure. We like.
I thought this like the first 2 weeks I really felt strongly about my picks. I thought this week was a little bit harder to find picks. But I went in there and I found some. So I'll go first. My three picks this week. I have BC minus 12.5 against Stanford. I watched BC. They played Michigan State this weekend. Dylan Lonergan, the quarterback they have, Alabama transfer, is very legit. Very good quarterback. Bill O'Brien recruited him when he was at Alabama. He followed him up to BC now. They have a very good offense. Isaiah Bond, a good receiver for them. And Stanford is horrible. So I think they're going to be able to put up a bunch of points against Stanford. So give me BC minus 12.5 against Stanford. Um, I also have Arizona State bounce back game. I love Kenny Dillingham as a coach. I think he's going to get them going. I think they're going to come out, and I think Sam Levitt's going to have a redemption game as they take on Texas State. They're 14.5 point favorites. Give me Arizona State to cover with the 14.5 against Texas State. And then my final game is a team that I was down on to start the season. But I think they're not getting enough points. I think we're overvaluing a Vanderbilt team that really looked bad against Virginia Tech for periods of that game. They ended up winning by a bunch. They came back in the second half. But give me South Carolina minus 5.5 at home against Vandy. I
Yeah.
think they are able to beat Vandy by double digits. So give me South Carolina's minus 5.5 against Vandy, BC minus 12.5 against Stanford, and Arizona State to bounce back 14.5 against Texas State.
Yeah, I really like that last bet you bring up because I think the book is out on Diego Pavia and the whole magic there. I think they're back. I think they're going to be back to the doormat of the SEC this year. I think.
I also like when I can have a common opponent in two teams I'm betting on. Like they've both played Virginia Tech, so I've
Yeah,
seen
but
them.
we both know that college football math is always a disaster.
No, I know, but yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I like it. No, I like drawing from that information pool as well. I'm just saying it hasn't always been as trusty as
it's
I've
not
hoped.
always accurate. Yeah,
Yeah. My first one, I'm going with Oregon. They're minus 27.5 on the road against Northwestern. I watched Northwestern. I guess they were playing football against Tulane. I don't know. It was tough to watch. I watched that. I had a lot of money on Tulane that game, and it was fun, obviously, because they slaughtered them. I really like Tulane. I think they're right up there with South Florida in the competitors for that 12th spot in the playoff. But Northwestern, I think they scored 3 in that game. I don't know. It wasn't pretty. The quarterback threw 4 interceptions. Oregon's really good from what I just saw. Or Oklahoma State is the most embarrassing team of all time. I don't know. I think it's a combo of both. I like Oregon to cover that. I know it's hard to play in Northwestern Medicine Field at Martin Stadium in Evanston, Illinois. I know that's difficult, but I trust Dante Moore in Oregon to go get it done. I'd like him to win this game like 42-7 or something. So
you
I'm
don't
gonna go.
just waltz into Evanston though.
No, it can be a tough place to play. Has it ever been that one year? Maybe it was a tough place to play. I don't know. They're not very good. Um, I also like a Friday game. Houston. Guess who Houston's quarterback is?
Is it Connor Wegman?
It's Connor Wegman.
Yeah,
He has played very well so far. They're running the ball fantastic. I think Colorado is. I think the shine is off. I think they've got a coach who's ill and not super interested. I think he's more so watching Browns games, waiting for his son to check into the game. Um, I don't know. I don't like the vibe I'm getting from Colorado. I think Houston's minus 5.5. Give me Houston to kind of beat them up pretty good. Um, I'll go Houston by like 10 or 14 in that game.
like
And my
that.
last one, I'm really torn on a few here, but it's kind of funny, Nick. You may or may not like this, but I'm going back to Tulane. They're at home hosting
I was
Duke.
gonna mention Tulane. Yeah,
Duke didn't look great against Illinois. Um, Mensa is has
that's the
played.
one thing that scares me about that
Yeah,
game is Mensa going against Tulane.
he has played well. But he's put up numbers. They just didn't do well last game.
But
I don't
that's
know.
where
I
he's
think.
from. That's where he's from.
Yeah, I know. I know. I think it's kind of tough to. I think they kind of rudely ran Malik Murphy out of town, sent him off to Oregon State, where he's now in hell. Um, but I like Tulane to win this game outright. I think they're a really talented team. I love Jake Retzloff, former BYU quarterback.
Is that 1.5?
Yeah, they're plus 1.5. I'll
You're
probably.
taking them ML.
I'm taking the ML. I'm going straight up Tulane victory. I think they make a nice statement that's saying they belong in the conversation for that 12-team playoff. So
Yeah.
that's me this week. Houston, Tulane and Oregon.
Yeah, no, I looked at that Tulane game. I really liked it. The only thing that worries me is Darian Mensah going back to Tulane and just having a monster game.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting. It's a great storyline. I mean, that game. I mean, if you look at I'm more interested in watching that game at 8 o'clock than I am in A&M, Notre Dame, Florida, LSU. That's just me right now. I'm
Well,
really
obviously, because LSU is going to kill Florida.
I'm really interested in that Tulane team this year. So great jerseys,
Yeah, I was going to say, I was actually, it's weird. I was about to say Tulane may be my favorite jerseys out there.
just fantastic jerseys, great home stadium crowd and the atmosphere, and a fun team. A tough quarterback. He reminds me a lot of Haynes King and Mateer, like that kind of like that, just like tough older quarterback who doesn't give a f about anyone's opinion. Like so, big fan of their team this year.
Agreed. And that'll do it for
Mm.
week 3, episode 4 of the CFP. Go ahead and follow
Well,
us.
no, there's no need for any of that, honestly.
There's no need. Just
Yeah,
maybe happen upon us next week or the week after.
it's
Um,
fine.
the defunct dude shut up show.
Is a tough word to hear. Yes. That show just really, yeah, it didn't really take, I guess, for for whatever reason. Yeah, maybe it
Yeah,
had
no, I mean, people
something to do with
people
effort, perhaps. But
people grow up, they grow old, and they forget
and they
about their
grow out.
friends.
They grow
Yeah,
out. But you know what? We're not done. We're not done. I
we're
still,
not done.
in my heart, I'm still an NFL guy. You know that. So, I
Good.
mean,
Yeah, no, definitely bring that
love
up on our
college.
college football podcast.
Love college. I'm just, well, I'm no, I'm just love college football. I've always historically been better at gambling on the NFL. So we're gonna pivot here to the end of the show, and we're gonna do rapid fire
Okay.
NFL. Yeah, NFL at the end of college. These guys that we talk about in college eventually go to the NFL.
It is. It is
Some of them.
that's the chain.
I can't talk about NFL anymore. I don't know if you're prepared for the segment. I'm
That's
not.
fine.
We're just gonna quickly pick it.
We weren't
If
prepared for
you
this
feel like
show.
if you feel like I am encroaching on your show, let's
I mean,
kill the
this
set.
can just become a football show. We can talk whatever. I
Well,
don't care.
we'll just do this at the end unless you think I'm encroaching.
There's no encroachment. You're
Okay.
behind the line of scrimmage.
Okay, good. Not
Okay.
lined up in the neutral zone.
Not at all.
Um, all right.
Um, I actually feel like I have a better handle on the NFL this year than I have in the last few years. So I'm okay with this.
Yeah, I
Um,
had a really extraordinary week one. Hit some
this is
lucky
a
bets.
great Thursday night game.
It really is. It's high quality. If only we got to see the teams with a full week of rest in this matchup. What a shame.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, but it is early in the year. Maybe it won't be that bad, but it's a great matchup. Um, Commanders plus 3.5, coming off a big victory against the Giants. Packers shockingly destroyed Detroit. Maybe not shockingly to some people, but it was certainly a wake up call for Detroit. Packers minus 3.5. What do you like?
I like the Packers in this game. I think the Packers are legit. I think the Packers are Super Bowl contenders, and they're at home. So I do like the Packers here. I think Washington's a great team. I love Jaden Daniels, but I think the Packers win this game and cover.
Guess who led the NFL in pressures in week one?
Washington.
Iowa's own Lucas Van Ness.
Mm.
He had, I think, 7 or 8 pressures on Jared Goff. Yeah, remarkable total for 1 week. But yeah, bring over Micah Parsons. He only played 45% of the snaps, but I mean, you take a decent to above average defense and add another guy who can wreak havoc, and it really, people say, it's a team's. It really makes a big difference to add one guy like this. Now, I don't think I think Jaden Daniels is kind of like matchup proof, just the way he is smart, the way he reads the field, gets the ball out, the way he can make plays with his legs. So I actually like the Commanders on the points here. I think we're getting just a little too many points. So I'll take Green Bay win, Commanders cover.
Yeah, no, I mean my thoughts are definitely more towards how good I think Green Bay is, and not really a reflection of how I feel about Washington.
Yeah, I really think Daniels is there's a lot of preseason like lazy takes like oh, he's sophomore slump. He's a twig, his body will snap in half. It, he's I think he's legitimately a top 10 without a doubt, maybe even top 5 quarterback in the NFL already. I think he's that good. So, I think he's fully matchup proof, and he's kind of able. He carried the team all the way to the NFC Championship last year. I think he's going to be,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, a lot to like there. Okay, Bills at Jets. Bills coming off one of the greatest regular season comebacks in the history of the NFL, in my opinion. Uh, Absolutely insane game, beating the Ravens at the buzzer. Jets played great.
Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson finding some of that Ohio State magic, though. I mean, that might
Brees
be. And
Brees
Brees
Hall.
Hall. Why do they refuse to just let Brees Hall be the guy?
Well, they
Why
did
do
in
they
they did
shove
in week one.
Braylon? They
Well,
still,
you're right. You're
they
right.
still shove Braylon Allen down your throat more than they need to.
Yeah, he had like 7 carries for 9 yards, and yeah, Allen did not play well. Brees Hall looked amazing.
Yeah,
Some
I agree.
Iowa State, is that right? Iowa State.
Yep, I
He
was
looked
saying
he
Purdy,
looked
him
like
and Purdy.
the glory days there. Jets played great, but lost a tough one to Pittsburgh. That's too many points in a divisional matchup
It
for
is
a
a
team
lot of points.
that team looked good. Bills have historically struggled in New York in this matchup, like weirdly struggled. Bills struggle in their road matchups in the division for some reason. Even in the Josh Allen era, too many points. Give me New York. I'll take Bills to win, New York to cover.
I'm on the same page with you. I think seven's too many.
Yeah,
But I do think the Bills win.
yeah. I mean, they look, but they have defensive issues too. I mean, you gave up 40 at home, so yeah, I like the
Yeah,
points. Next game, Giants. One of the most discouraging starts to uh, to the NFL season was the Giants here. A lot of local fans that I know were hyped up. I warned them, don't get too hyped up. They looked miserable, didn't score a touchdown. Cowboys played a lot better than I expected. Maybe that was a product of the game record, Jalen Carter intentionally removing himself from the game before it started. But Cowboys looked capable against the Eagles. I don't know what to make of this game at all. I think I will go with the fact that New York looked hopeless and take the Cowboys, even though I don't like giving this many points in a divisional matchup. But I'm going to go Cowboys.
yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys, and I think this is the game that puts the final nail in Russell Wilson's coffin. I think this is the last game we see Russell Wilson play. I think it's on the Jackson Dart after this game. I think the Cowboys beat him up.
Yeah, Russ didn't turn the ball over, but he also just didn't look like he's ever going to elevate your team to like. Uh, Wilson might be capable on like a good team, like the Steelers, like he was last year, but he's not capable on a bad roster. And yeah,
I think he's cooked.
yeah, we're on the same page. He just doesn't. He does look cooked. Browns at Ravens. Browns played a spirited game against the Bengals. Probably should have won, but their kicker, who can't kick, cost them. Um, their defense was awesome. They were better than the Bengals, but they found a way to lose. I was watching the game. Browns fan had a shirt that said, "We almost always almost win," and it proved to be true once again. Baltimore obviously coming off a horrific collapse, which they have become absolutely addicted to in the past couple of years, mysteriously with this roster, they somehow blow all these games. But
Yeah,
a lot of points.
it is a lot of points for any NFL game, especially a divisional game. 11 and a half is a ton of points, but like you said, the Ravens roster might be the best in the NFL.
Right.
Um, Certainly, I think is the best in the AFC. Um, so I think they want you to kind of take Cleveland here, and I'm going to take the Ravens. I think they cover.
That's exactly my line of thinking. I think they want you to take these points. I think the Ravens get a measure of revenge here for their collapse and actually lay a whooping on Cleveland here. So
Yeah.
yep. That'll be a popular survivor pool pick for sure. Rams kind of a sluggish win over Houston, but their defense balled out. Puka Nacua balled out. Tennessee predictably struggled mightily on offense in Denver. Uh, yeah,
Defense wasn't bad though.
their defense was solid until they. I don't know if you saw the end, but that boneheaded mistake by Simmons really cost them a chance to.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, shoving the guy after the whistle just unnecessarily. He played such a good game too. It was a real shame for him to make that mistake. Um, yeah, this could be a slugfest. This could be a weird little slugfest in Tennessee here. I feel like the urge will be just to click on -5.5 and move on. But I think the sharp play is actually take Tennessee to cover. I'll pick the Rams to win by 4.
I agree with that. It's also one of those West Coast team coming east for a 1 o'clock game that
Yeah,
is
good point.
always tricky. Yeah, I we're kind of lined up here. I like the Titans with the points. I think the Rams win, but I do like the Titans with the
It's
five and
the
a half.
ultimate hold your nose and take the points bet because I feel yucky clicking it, but
Yeah.
I'll be taking the Titans. Niners, which resembles the morgue. Their roster resembles the morgue again, as usual. I mean, how is it? How it's like the joke is San Francisco can't stay healthy. It's the joke has become it's it's like full circle. Like it's week 1. Purdy might not play. Kittle's on IR. Jennings hurt his shoulder. I don't even, as a Niners fan, I don't even know what to do here.
Thank God
If,
it's the Saints.
yeah, well, it is a nice soft spot, I suppose. The Saints are really bad. We're gonna have to lean on our defense here. Um, you and I will be playing tight end for the Niners this week, I think.
Oh, I gotta get working
A lot
out.
of points. A lot of points. I'm inclined to take the Saints here. The Saints almost pulled off an upset of the Cardinals, but could not get it done.
I think the Niners cover here. Give me the Niners by a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, game time. This was a -7 spread. Uh, Before week 1, they had the week 2 lines rolled out already. This was a -7, -7.5 at one point. So the injuries are clearly taking a toll on the spread here. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe the play is the Niners, and let's be real. Am I really going to bet the Saints as a Niners fan? Probably not. All right. Patriots, miserable performance in week 1. A lot of hype. 3-point favorites. Looked terrible. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't pass protect. May wasn't accurate when he had time. The defense did play great against the run, but you got shredded through the air. And the kicker looks like he just finished a construction shift in El Paso. I don't know I don't know who is this guy. He missed a critical kick in the first half. Dolphins, probably the worst performance in the NFL in week 1. Tua turned the ball over four times in the first half. They couldn't get a stop. They never got a single stop on defense. Lost 33-8 in a garbage time touchdown that didn't matter. This is a big matchup for both these teams. As a Pats fan, you want to break it down a bit?
Yeah, I think this is it for me. If the Dolphins can't move the ball and have success in the air against the Patriots that came out last week, then I think it's all cooked up for this iteration of the Dolphins. I think you have Tyreek Hill on the verge. Like I think he's could go two ways right now. He could go Antonio Brown if things keep going very poorly for him, or he could rebound or get traded maybe. But this is it for the Dolphins. If they can't move the ball against the pass offense that we saw from the or pass defense that we saw from the Pats
Right.
last week, I think they're all cooked up. I think the Patriots offense will be a little bit better. I would hope. I
Right.
think Drake May will be a little bit better. You're right. He was very inaccurate when he had time. So I expect them to be a little bit better. Give me the Patriots to win here. But it could get ugly if I don't believe in the Dolphins. I think they are done. But if they don't get it done this week, I'll know for sure.
It's a very important week 2 matchup for both
It
teams.
is.
Like, like if New England loses, it's like, oh God, is this the same exact thing as last year? They're just going to be awful again. And if
Yeah.
Miami loses, I mean, I was telling some people Miami needs to ditch the QB. They need to trade everything they possibly can and get whatever they can. Tyreek Hill just got news just dropped today that been sued for 8 domestic abuse allegations by his ex-wife, who
Jesus
they were
Christ.
married for 17 months. And honestly, it's one of the rare cases where I just fully believe the woman. This
Yeah.
guy is a bad guy. But anyways, yeah, New England never seems to go down to Miami and play well. It just seems like a house of horrors for them. Um,
Yeah.
I think
That's
I
very
think
true.
I think the Dolphins bounce back and win, but I think it's a pretty brutal game. I'm gonna go like 16-14 Miami, and either way, one of these teams is leaving real disappointed with their start to the year. Jaguars, big statement win. Offense looked good, defense looked good. Not sure if that's a product of Carolina looking miserable or the Jaguars being somewhat back, but between Houston not being able to protect their quarterback and making no offseason offensive changes to help Stroud. They didn't bring in anyone to help in the receiving room. The running back room is a disaster with Mixon hurt, and they cannot protect Stroud. This division just became wide open with the way the Colts and the Jaguars played. Completely changed my perspective on the division. So, anyways, Jaguars played well. Cincinnati didn't play well, but finally got a week 1 win. I think they were 1-5 under Burrow
Yeah.
in week ones. This is definitely an interesting matchup. A little cat showdown. I'm inclined to take the Jaguars here on the points. The way Cincy seems to play at the beginning of seasons and the way they looked in week 1, I'm going Jaguars with the points.
Yeah, the line looks a little trappy to me with how they both played week one. It feels
Mm.
like you definitely would want to take the Jags. Um, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I'm gonna give them a chance to prove to me that they are who I thought they were and
Yeah.
not who they were last week. So give me Cincinnati to cover.
Yeah, I like that take. I would recommend to any viewers buy that number down to 3, though. You don't want to be given 3.5, in my opinion. But do whatever you want. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying that.
especially when it's at minus 105. You can
Yeah, I would take that.
take the
Take
hook
that.
off.
Yeah, take that hook off for real. Um, Seahawks did not look inspired playing offense. Their defense looked a lot better than it has been in the um, past few years. Steelers big win against the Jets. Rodgers revenge game. Rodgers throwing 4 touchdowns looked really good. Their defense was shockingly
Yeah.
full of holes against the Jets, though. I don't think that's a theme that continues. I like the Steelers to kill the Seahawks here. I don't believe in Darnold and his. It's just Jackson Smith and Jigba. That's the entire offense for the Seahawks. He's amazing, but uh, yeah, I like the Steelers here big. Let's go.
Yeah, and it
Yeah,
kind of looks like we may finally be getting Zach Charbonneau taking over for Kenneth Walker. I feel like he was more the lead featured back in that first game for the Seahawks. But
he's.
sorry, I
I think
interrupted.
Walker's injuries have caught up to him. It's a shame because Walker was probably on track to be one of the best running backs in the league, and then the injuries just piled up.
Yeah.
As a Michigan State
Um,
guy, a guy literally is responsible for a magical Michigan State season. Just him.
Single-handedly. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Uh,
And he was responsible for us giving the coach a bunch of money and then realizing we definitely shouldn't have done that.
yeah,
Uh,
well, it's not his fault.
so then thank God he cheated on his or he slept with some people in the athletic
Allegedly.
department.
Right.
Yeah.
23 to
Definitely did.
23 to 10 to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to be uh, a couple years ago when they went undefeated the first like 9 games of the season. I think Pittsburgh is going to go on a little run to start this season, and people are going to start talking. I like Pittsburgh to win here. Um, I think they win and they cover.
Yeah, Chris Boswell needs a shout out. Maybe the most
Oh,
underrated, not talked about kicker of all time.
very true. It's also a lot of West Coast teams playing at 1 o'clock on the East. The
Yeah,
Seahawks, you have the
Niners.
Niners, you have the Rams,
Yeah.
all coming east at 1 o'clock. So very interesting kind of scheduling.
Oh, can you cue the Tide music, please? Tide. It's good for a cold
Tied.
wash or a hot wash.
Da 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 da. Tied.
Where did Chris Boswell play college football?
Tied. Texas?
Well, it's actually a really good guess. You're probably not going to get it, but he played
No.
for the Rice Owls.
Ooh, okay.
Just about as
Definitely
close
want to got
as,
that.
just about as close as possible in terms of location. But yeah, Rice is in Houston, so pretty good guess. I'll give you a quarter of a point.
All right,
Um,
I'll take
yeah,
that.
that's what it was. It was unprepared. Tied bonus question. Bears miserable collapse last night. Had the game in their pocket. Defense was playing out of control. But Caleb Williams reverted back to his troubles from last year: inaccuracy and just not making the smart right plays. Ben Johnson kind of choked in his coaching debut, and you have the Lions who played probably their worst game in 3 or 4 years. Just no points until the final drive when it did not matter. Sorry, no touchdowns until the final drive when it didn't matter. Jahmyr Gibbs, 19 touches for 40 yards. Jeez. I feel like I could scheme that guy for more than 40 yards on 19 touches. Anyways, could be a rude awakening for the Lions, losing their coordinators, losing some offensive linemen. Huge game, in my opinion, for
It's
both these teams.
huge, huge
Yeah.
game.
Bears fall
Uh,
in that 0-2 hole, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, same old Bears. Lions go to 0-2. It's like, oh, man, what's going on with Detroit? I think the Bears actually need this game more. I'm taking the Bears on the points here. I'm going to say they pull off a victory, too.
the other thing the Bears need to do if they're going to win this game is not commit 13 penalties. Way
Yeah.
too many penalties, way too undisciplined for the Bears. But you're right. This is a huge divisional matchup in week two. Neither of these teams really can afford to go to 0-2, especially with their losses coming in division. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I'm going to cop out. Give me the Bears to cover, Lions to win.
Yeah, I don't hate that. That's almost what I did. Part of me thinks there's a scenario where the Lions just are the Lions again and kill them, but yeah, it's a really tough game for me to read. Everything about it, what's going to happen, the spread itself is difficult. Um, Bears missing Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, one of the best corners in the league, and TJ Edwards was big. It proved big because they collapsed in the fourth quarter on defense. The Bears have had this habit of collapsing on defense in the fourth quarter for years now. Yeah, like you said, huge matchup. So I'll go Bears straight up for fun. You're taking the Lions, but the Bears cover. Okay.
Yeah.
Panthers looked like the 2024 beginning of the season Panthers. Bryce Young looked like he had regressed back to that guy. They were terrible against the Jaguars. The Cardinals weren't overly impressive against the Saints, but they got it done on the road. A nice victory. Um,
It's a lot of points.
yeah, I don't believe in the Panthers though. That was really bad. The Cardinals' defense has improved. Cardinals, I'll take them on the spread. It's a kind of a hold your nose line for me. But
Yeah.
if it was seven, I'm probably taking the Panthers. But I'm going Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals too because I feel like they want you to take the Panthers here.
Yeah, it's a lot
Uh,
of points.
it seems like, yeah, again for a team, I don't know. The Cardinals, I just can't figure them out. Yeah, I think the Cardinals win this by 10.
Yeah, if we're talking hot seats, we mentioned Miami. Mike McDaniel kind of turned into like a little clown. Dave Canales for the Panthers. I mean, you can't just go three. You can't go 4 and
No.
13. So I think they were 2-15 his first year, and then 5-12 last year. The pressure starts to mount big if you are 0-2 here, and then I'm sure the schedule doesn't do them any favors.
No, especially because the rest of their division, well, not the Saints, but the Bucks and the Falcons both look better.
They looked good, yeah, they did. You got the Broncos sloppy win offensively. Bo Nix was pretty horrifying. He was not good. Bad decision making, bad turnovers, um, bad game management. They were able to run the ball a little, and their defense looked as advertised. They gave up 12. They gave up 4 field goals, but a couple of those were just field position after turnovers and stuff like that. They looked dominant. They led the NFL in sacks last week. Um, Colts, biggest surprise in week one probably was how thoroughly they destroyed Miami. Daniel Jones with like an historically good game.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about the NFL. You can't predict some of this stuff, and it's fun. This should be a good matchup. The Horse Bowl. Both teams 1-0. I think this is a defensive slugfest. I really do. I think the Broncos pull it out by 3 and cover. It's another hold your nose on the road for me, but I'm going Broncos 19-16.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. These are our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue.
Yeah, I hear
Whether
you.
win or lose, we love them. Okay? We do.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with the Colts here. Um, I like them. I've always sneaky, and won't say this if you pull me to, but I've always kind of sneaky liked Daniel Jones. I feel like he kind of got a raw deal for the Giants. I was very excited to see him go somewhere else. So I like the Colts. I think the Colts go to 2-0, and I think the Colts win this game outright.
Yeah, he's actually like he's kind of like that kid that
I think we could be seeing like a Sam Darnold type year right now.
he's that unpopular kid who you're just like drawn to, you know? Like that's how I feel. He's like
You just kind of feel bad for him. Like he's
it,
the kid who grew up where he was really rich, but his parents were like never around, and like he was just always alone, and people used him because he had a really sweet house with a pool. But you
yeah,
always kind of felt bad
right.
for him.
But there is potential in there. Like that
Yeah,
like there's something about it you can't quit. Um I'm actually kind of with you on that take. Definitely have never really hated Danny. Easy to make fun of, but maybe we don't understand him well enough.
yeah, he's kind of like
Um,
the Ledger to Gyllenhaal. Like you just can't quit him.
are you precisely? Are you going Colts outright?
Colts outright. Yep.
All right, that I'm actually that game just got way more exciting in terms of looking at the schedule than we thought it would be. Um, Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl rematch. Normally this would like cause great excitement, but I think the whole world is like fatigued of these teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we get it. We get it. I think the Eagles pound them. I think the Chiefs have some serious issues. One, they can't run the ball. Isaiah Pacheco is a shell of himself. Kareem Hunt seems to be better, which is not that much of an improvement. They can't run the ball. They had some offensive line turnover. Um, their weapons are beat up. Rice is suspended. Worthy's now got the shoulder. He's going to be out for a bit. Um, Hollywood Brown on an 8-yard in route is not going to win too many football games, but they threw it. It's 16 targets. Hollywood Brown 16 targets. I don't know, man. Um, I think there's some issues here. I don't think the Chiefs' defense is as good as it was. I think the Chargers really exposed them. And yeah, they'll probably still be good enough and win games and stuff, and Mahomes will do his thing. But I think it's going to be a real test this year for them. I think they
Yeah.
might even. I think they might even miss the playoffs. Um, Give me the Eagles to beat them. The Eagles are just a far better roster. I think
Yeah.
the Eagles.
Eagles
I don't.
pound him.
Yeah, I don't know if they pound them because it's on the road, but they win this game 24-17.
I think they win this game 34-10.
That would be. I would like that. There's a rare occasion where I'm rooting for the Eagles in a football game. Um, then the Sunday night game, the Vikings giving JJ McCarthy all the primetime games. That's kind of odd. Um, I think this was supposed to be. What did they forget that Cousins isn't starting for Atlanta? Is that what they think this game is? Well, it's not. Um, Falcons looked really good in the loss. Michael Penix looked a lot better than I ever thought he would ever look in a game.
Big Penix energy for sure.
Yeah, he looked good. He's playing good football. And JJ McCarthy, after a miserable 3 quarters where I thought I was being validated on my take that he absolutely stinks, got flipped completely on his head. And I hate to say this, he's the first quarterback in NFL history in any game to throw 2 touchdowns and throw 2 touchdowns of 10 plus yards and rush for 1 touchdown of 10 plus yards in the fourth quarter any game ever, and he does it in his debut. It's a bit of a cherry pick stat, but it's still a stat. Yeah, so maybe he's going to be quite capable in the NFL. I guess I might be wrong. I'll take the. Oh boy, yeah, I'll take the points here. I think the Falcons fight. They fight.
Falcons Falcons win this game.
Okay. I'm going
And that
Falcons.
that could be just because I really don't believe in JJ McCarthy, and I get like his defenders will make all the same arguments that they make every single time, but I really I need to see him do it multiple times. Like
I hear you.
I don't believe in him. I think he benefited from a lot of scenarios in college, and I think that we're not allowed to say that, but I'm going to say it here.
Right.
And it's not just because I looked at the last 4 games he played, it's because he had the 2 best running backs in the country, the best offensive line in the country. He'd never had to throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. So those are all facts.
Right.
But anyway, we can digress. Give me the Falcons plus the points, and I think the Falcons win outright.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons on the points, and yeah, I'll take them to win outright too. Why not? Let's do that. That sounds fun.
Fuck it.
We got a nice double
You know
header
what?
on. Oh, go
Fuck
ahead.
them. Fuck them.
Falcons by 30.
No, I won't go that far. Falcons by 6.
Okay. We got a cool double
This
header on.
line is insane. I don't get this line whatsoever,
Me
which
neither.
makes me think that it's a trap.
Houston cannot pass protect. Everything about Tampa is better than Houston,
Yeah,
except
everything.
maybe the secondary for Houston is superior.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe the defensive side of the ball is slight advantage to Houston. Baker Mayfield is a dog. That throw he made to Ibuka, who I said would have an instant impact in the NFL, and yeah, it looks pretty
That's
accurate so far.
correct. Yeah, that's correct.
He looks like a veteran. Yeah, I don't get this line. I'm fading Houston here. I'm going Tampa Bay on the money line.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think they're the better football team. I think the quarterback is legit, and I think Houston's going through having some struggles this year. I do.
No, I am hammering Tampa Bay on the money line. Give me Colts, Bucks, money line parlay, and laugh your way to the bank.
Love it. That's gonna produce some pretty good odds there. You probably get about somewhere around about 5 or 6 to 1. It could be a nice payday.
It would be.
Then this is why I like this Monday doubleheader. In the past, they've done the 7:30 start and then the 8:30 staggered start, and it's like, what are
Yeah.
we doing here? Are we alternating TV channels with like the drives are going together, the halftime's not syncing up properly. This is the way to do it. You do the 7 and then you do the 10 p.m. This is for the real degenerates, the real people like me who don't have to get up at 7 a.m. every day. I can't wait for this. This 10 p.m. game, Chargers Raiders. Chargers looked great in beating Kansas City and Brazil. Herbert played awesome. Their defense was capable. The Raiders, it feel people are hyping the Raiders now after that win. It feels like kind of an outlier to me. I think we need to pump the brakes on that. That said, though, divisional game at home, I'll take the points. The Chargers win on a game-winning field goal by 3.
Give me the Chargers to cover, win by 6.
Yeah.
I just think
Okay.
they're better.
Yeah, they really. I misjudged them. I said they were going to miss the playoffs. They looked like a really solid roster. With I know you're not going to like this with a good coach. No, nothing.
It's easy to coach. It's also easy to play quarterback when you know what the other team's running. So
That's a good point. That's a good point. But he does have pre-cheating chops in the NFL. As a Niners coach, he was pretty capable. But
yeah, no, he's fine in the NFL. He just cheats
we
in
can
college.
both agree that the Harbaugh brothers are immoral, bad people, and kind of grotesque folks. I hate.
Oh,
Both of them.
John's fine.
Oh no, John's not fine. That guy is a scumbag. But that's just my take. Um, so there we go. We put an extra half hour on it. Thanks for doing that with me. That was quite fun.
That's fine. Yeah, no, I just love talking ball.
Yeah, we're here to talk football. We
All
we
levels.
bring the effort. We try, and we care.
So what do we think about next week? We'll do a 3-part show. We'll do high school, college, and NFL.
All right, it's going to be tough to wade through 6,000 lines to pick my top 3 high school bets, but
I'll send you the top high school matchups of the week.
All right, sounds good. Yeah.
No, but one more, like, how pathetic I was Friday night. I
No.
was I was watching Texas high school games. That's what I was doing.
I bet they're
I
good.
I have this NFHS thing that I bought a thing to, and you can just type in any school. And I was watching DeSoto
Mm.
against North Conway. It was a great game. Then it got a lightning delay at like 10 o'clock at night, and I fell asleep. So I don't even know who won, but it was a lot of fun. It was 23-22 when I fell asleep. North Conway was a top 5 ranked team in the state of Texas. DeSoto was giving them everything they could handle. Yeah. I also tuned in a little bit to watch the two-a-days famed Hoover Buccaneers play.
Ooh,
Um,
yep.
some of the stadiums that these high schools have are freaking crazy, dude. Like, it's insane what's going on in high school football in some of these places. But yeah, no, I've dipped my toe into the high school
Hang on.
football, and I don't know if I can stop it.
Yeah, well, ball is life for some people, and for you, it clearly is.
Yeah. North Crowley.
North
Yeah.
Crowley came back and won 36-27 over DeSoto.
Great ball game. It was a great ball game. Uh, got some real good players on both sides of that ball.
Do you think when go
South
ahead?
Lake Carroll,
Oh yeah,
they're just awesome. I watched
always.
them too. I mean, first play of the game was a 75-yard touchdown. It was
I
crazy. They're
I
just
believe
awesome.
that's the. I believe there's been a lot of NFL guys come
There
through
has.
that
Yep.
pipeline. So,
Yep. There
but yeah,
has.
well, yeah. Next week we'll do high school Texas. We'll focus on Texas high school football, college football, NFL. We'll sprinkle in some CFL, maybe some flag, as well. So yeah,
We played flag football together once.
yeah, we did.
It was a hell of a team.
Yeah, the
God
hell
hate
of
fl-
a team.
God hates flags. We'll see you
Yeah.
next week.